Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely and I'm here in Eureka, Montana at the Wilderness Disc Golf Course. And this is one of the most, God, I literally sat up last night trying to think of the right word. Spectacular, amazing. Well, y'all know I'm not religious and I'm gonna still say this is God's country. It's the most accurate words to describe this. Surrounded by the American Rockies, the Canadian Rockies to the north, wildlife, nature, and beauty. And a friend of mine from the past 30 years, Charles Richard III, you call him Poodle, okay? That's the name on his birth certificate. Poodle designed an experience here that's beyond nearly anything else in our sport. And I'm going to walk you through, show you some of the cool holes. We're gonna throw some shots. But first, I got Poodle here with me at the, he calls this the cabana hole?
Pagoda.
Pagoda hole. The pagoda hole. I call it the, you get to sit on a couch while you're waiting to tee off hole. Chuck, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, these are the 30-minute benches.
These are the 30-minute benches.
It took me 30 minutes to build them.
And this is the first and last time you see Fiji water. Best water on earth, assuming they keep paying me. If they don't, you'll never see them again on a video.
Easy. Shout out to Cash.
Shout out to Cash.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck, so you are a multiple time, I think 6-time world champion in flying disc sports. You're a freestyle world champion, a WIFDF freestyle world champion, couple-time overall world champion, accuracy world champion, but disc golf was always your weakest, and for, I think, most of your life, your least favorite disc game. It's not that you didn't like it, it's just that you liked all the other disc sports more.
Yeah.
You are the last person that would build a private course. So how did this, how, why?
Well, you know, it's really interesting too, because, you know, freestyle is always my first love, and playing overall events. Like you mentioned in your book, when you won like 32 state championships in a row, you didn't mention the number 2 guy was me in like 25 of those, you know, because playing the overall events was great. That's how I got to know you. You're a disc golfer that liked overall, right?
Yes.
And so what happened was my daughter went to school just down the street here for 2 years. We sent her to a boarding school out here, and I needed a place to stay. So there was this wilderness resort. They had some houses for rent, and I came in here. And you go through the gate to this beautiful resort that's got a golf course that's designed by Nick Faldo, and it's like rated like one of the #1 resorts in Montana. And I remember being stopped at the gate and them giving me instructions to where the house was, and I looked to my left, and there was this little mound. It was overgrown, it had trees, and you know, it was total prairie look, and a little sort of a downhill and a street going. I said, oh my God, that's hole 1. This would be a great spot for a disc golf course. So before I even got to my room, I'm thinking, man, let's get a disc golf course here. So my daughter...
Real quick, I gotta jump in.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've ever looked at a piece of land or had ever looked at a piece of land and thought disc golf?
No, I've thought of it as, you know, I travel a lot, and sometimes I think this would be good for a disc golf course, but it turns out that I just really felt like this would be a great place. So what happened was I ended up building a house here and then buying into the resort, and then I talked to people into putting a disc golf course in, and they were okay with it. The property, as you said, it's beautiful. I mean, this is sort of away from the facilities where the clubhouse and the pool and so forth, in an area where they're not going to be building the houses and so forth. And it just spoke to me.
Now, quick shout out. They had heard of disc golf before because of a person in town.
Yeah. Richard Lovett works here, and he actually wanted to put a disc golf course in here, and he's now the disc golf superintendent, and I could have done all this initial work without him. And he was out mowing yesterday so we could be ready for the shots.
So he helped sow the seeds to kind of lay, you know, prime the pump. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, exactly. So there, it had been brought up, but there was no one actually to do it. And so a lot of things happened. I put the original course in 2019, and then during COVID, I had a chance to extend it and add some of the things that were part of what sort of my philosophy was for building this course. You know, I'm sort of a perfectionist in some ways, and there's certain things
some ways.
Exactly. I had an idea of what I wanted the course to be.
Right.
It was basically, I wanted players of all skill levels, from beginners to pro, to be able to come here and experience this place and play 18 holes. And from hole 1 to when they're walking up that hill in hole 18, I wanted them to be feeling, wow, that was a quality experience. because that's what I want it to be about, quality. And the thing about quality, it's one of those things that's really difficult to define. If you say, what's the definition of quality? It's hard to come up with a good definition. But once you experience quality, you know it was a quality experience. So my goal was to have people walking out of here saying, that was great, that was quality. That's what I was trying to accomplish here.
All right, so I totally agree with you about quality, and you said it's hard to define. I'm gonna try. I have not given you my honest opinion about the course yet. I mean, I told you that I liked it, that it was great, but I haven't actually explained why I liked it. 4 things that give it quality. Number 1, you had nothing whatsoever to do with. It's the nature, the beauty, the mountains, the snow-capped peaks, the wildlife running around. I mean, if there wasn't a disc golf course here, you would enjoy just walking around here. I mean, it's beautiful. Number 2, and I think this trumps everything when it comes to courses, in almost every case, no matter what you do, you need to have good holes. You have good holes. And I'll ask you about that in a minute, but there's just a variety of shots, a variety of distances, there's a variety of terrain changes, elevation changes. You're required to throw different types of throws. I mean, there's variety, and they're good. There's not a bunch of luck. There's also not a lot of super easy. Every hole's a challenge, risk, reward, it's great. Number 3 is you have, and this is becoming a little more common these days, but back in the old days it wasn't anywhere near, is you have multiple tee pads and sometimes 2 or 3 baskets on every single hole, which means players at different skill levels can come out and compete on a course that's for them, but also, and this is often not talked about, but people with different, or who are looking for different experiences. Some people don't want to be overly challenged to hit par. Some people want to get a bunch of birdies, and other people want to be constantly challenged, and neither's right or wrong. When you have different, with so much variety, you can do that. If you're here for a week, you can also play a different course every day, which is fun. Number 4, I love where you place the out of bounds. You know, when you go to like look at a Pro Tour event, Disc Golf Pro Tour, I mean, I'm pretty good at this game, and I stand on the tee pad of these holes like having a panic attack because they're so damn hard, which is exactly what I want to play. But if you're off by this much, you're out of bounds. If you're good and you're off by this much, you're out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that is just not fun for most players. You put the out of bounds when necessary. It's not out of bounds in every hole. It's when you needed the extra challenge, but it's always in a spot where as long as you throw a good shot, a reasonably good shot, you're safe. You throw a bad shot, you're going to get penalized. Either it's going to hit an early tree or you're going to go out of bounds. That's the way the game is supposed to be played, and that is appropriate for 99% of players. Are those all things that you...
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, there were these couple of these guiding principles. You know, I was given this area to use for the course, and it's almost like 2 courses. The front 9 is sort of on the side of a hill. It's flatter, and it's you know, the challenges of some of the OBs and so forth.
You had to have some OBs on the front 9, unless you just adamantly hate artificial OBs. I like artificial OBs. Without OBs on the front 9, I think the holes, some of them are too easy.
Yes, and you know, so my goal was to take advantage of every bit of the natural beauty on this course that I could possibly do. And you know, you brought up a couple of good things. One of my other guiding principles was I never want to penalize a good shot, and I really dislike these holes where you could throw a great shot and be OB.
You're off by this much.
You're off by this much, or you have to hit a gap that's impossible. It just drives me crazy. So, you know, I took advantage of that. I like the elevation changes. I also don't like courses where you're throwing the same shot over and over again. You want to throw a different shot on every hole.
Yeah, you don't throw the same shot 2 holes in a row.
And there's multiple ways in which we can throw most of them. And so I wanted to take advantage of the natural landscape and the natural beauty here, and also have multiple layouts available all at the same time. And another one of my big principles was a disc golf course is not only about what you can see, but what you don't see. So I spent a lot of time removing things when I was building the course to get them out of the way so that you don't see things that are distracting when you play.
Hey, what do you say let's keep talking, but let's throw some shots?
Let's go look at a couple of the holes and show everybody what we've got here.
I think it's great, man.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, Scott.
All right, hey everyone, you know, subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. Poodle, Charles Richard III, Chuck.
It was fun. Thanks,
You,
really appreciate it.
And I'm happy to showcase all your hard work. It's a masterpiece. Good job.
All right, thanks, man. See y'all here soon.